Hey guys, welcome back again to part 5. And yeah, my voice is a bit better, but not completely, so hopefully you can understand me good here. And this time I mentioned in the videos before, I would talk about the oscillator or voice section and the difference for. So normally I just wanted to do a short overview about my setup. When you've seen the last videos, you know that this did not work out like I planned, because I think sometimes it's good to go into details, sometimes not. I think there are a lot of videos out there about specific modules which are much better than what I can do here and want to do. But I talked a lot about the modulation parts, like here in the upper right section, because I think this is the basis for understanding how modular is working, and if somebody's new to that, perhaps it helps. If you do it for a long time or you're in it, yeah, you can just skip these parts. And I thought a long time about how I could do the oscillator and voice section, because you need sound. I now have a cheap microphone and microphone preamp, but I'm not happy with it, so I will not use it, because I use the microphone here in my camera, which is really good and has noise cancelling and all this stuff and auto leveling and whatever. And it has a line in additionally, which is good. I can connect all of my outgoing stuff here to the camera directly, and it works. And yes, I do not want to invest a lot of money in microphone technology, and I'm not too deep into it, and to be honest, I don't have enough time to invest it to figure out how I could do it perfectly. So what I will now do is not the best way, but I tried it out. Hopefully it works. I have my adapter in the camera. Now I use a microphone, and as soon as I switch some cable or connect some cable to the adapter, it switches to line in. And if somebody knows here if you can use a how is the name, Osmo Pocket 3 camera, if you know if you can use a wireless microphone from DJI, I think the name of the company is. If you can use a microphone, the wireless one additionally, and the line in at the same time, this would be helpful, because then I would just buy that. That's easier. I don't want to start with mixers and microphone and preamps and whatever. So okay, enough intro, I think. One word when I thought about how I can do this. So as I mentioned, I will talk a bit, and then we'll switch to the case audio, and you will hear something. Hopefully that works. And when I thought about it, I think it's good to patch it a bit, so that you hear better and have a better impression what this voice or oscillator can do, and why I've chosen it. And while thinking about patching, one topic which I have often discussed with others is the cables, the patch cables you use. Not the brand, but more or less the color and length, and the addition or the combination of color and length. Because when I start, I don't want to know how much money I invested in patch cables. And then I sorted out a lot, because it didn't work for me. So I have met guys who color code CV with a specific cable color and audio with another, so that they can see better what is what. I try to, but My problem is that at the end I throw all my cables just in a box. I don't sort them, and then it's complicated to if you need a certain length to see which cable is the right one. Sorry. And now for me, my system right now is, just to let you know, is I use these white cables. They are only, I think, 10 centimeters, 8 centimeters, I'm not sure. So very small ones, very short ones. And I use them mainly for connections like here. This is why everything here is very close together. So I could hopefully see that. Here, take this clock out and put it in the trigger here. And now diff skip is working. And the next length, so these very short ones. Then the next one are the red ones, which are, I think, 15 centimeters, if I'm right. Then I have these ones here, which are 40 or 45 centimeters. Then yellow ones, which are 60. No, that was wrong. I think 10, 15 was something like that. 30, 45. And these are such yellow-green mixture. They are 60, and the longest ones are these purple ones. Or is it purple? No, it's violet. Please correct me. Sorry, I'm not a native speaker. But you see the color, hopefully, if you are not colorblind. When you're colorblind, I think you could have another problem with this patch cables. Have never thought about that. But these are the longest for me, 90 centimeters. And I bought a couple of them when I had the bigger setup. For the small setup here, normally I just have to use these. And the advantage for me is when I want to connect something from here to there, like for example, let's see, let's take the kick, the kick is here in the neighbor. I can just plug this in here and there. Okay. I hear it on the headphone, you don't hear it. So then let's switch it off here. Okay. Okay, then we have the kick. So this was a bit about cables, and next one would be the longer ones here. The red ones, I use them a lot because they are a bit longer, and if you have a distance here, you can use them like for the heads here. And now we have something going on. Okay, I muted it. Okay, but later on to that. Okay, so switch it off. Okay, so this was it about cables. Yeah, and the rest, I think you understand by yourself which cable is for what. But for me it's good because when I know I want to connect something from here to there, I have a rough feeling that it could be green. In this case, yes, it's okay. Sometimes you see it's not long enough or you have too much tension, then I take the longer one, but I can grab a cable, I think, which meets the requirement just by the color. Okay. So let's see. Okay, these are my three sound sources, I say. This one here I do not explain, and because this is my experimental area to change and try out modules. So in the base case I have 3 sound sources, because when I talk about an oscillator, it's different from a voice a bit, or not a bit, much. And so I have one oscillator here, one voice, and this can be both. I explain that later on. So the first oscillator is the Synths Black Wavetable VCO, which I really like and love. It has normal out, the normal out, and you'll hear it in a minute, and it has a sub out, and the sub out is the same, but 1 octave lower. I think it's 1 or it's 2, no, it's 1, but I'm not absolutely sure. There's a really good video about that module from Monotrail. I'll link it in the description, so if you're interested in that, because I won't go too deep into details, just connect it and make a sweep with the wavetable and bit crush, and just let you hear it, and then I will go on to the voices. And as it's an oscillator, like the name says, it's just oscillating and creating a sound, a wave. And you can dial in the pitch here. You can switch to fine if you want to adjust it. So when you have a case, you should tune your oscillators to a specific note, like A with 440 hertz. So they are all in pitch. And when you dial in a sequence, that it sounds okay. So especially this oscillator here is analog, which means it can drift depending on the temperature and other things. So you should be aware that it's necessary to tune your oscillators to one note, all of them, or an octave below or whatever. But if something sounds weird when you start, it could be that your oscillators are not in tune. Okay, now first try, I put in this and that, and then connect the camera like I said to the case, and hopefully you will hear something. I will just play with the frequency a bit. Then this is a wavetable oscillator, as I mentioned. If you're interested, watch the video. So I will scan through one wavetable here. This oscillator has a bank, and there are, I'm not sure how many banks in with different wavetables. And you can bit crush, this is included here. You have the sub out, and you have different sub waveforms, which is cool. I just switch it a bit to then you can hear it. Then you have CV, which you can assign to bank perhaps, or whatever you want. You can switch the banks here. Go back to the bank, which I now I could have counted how many banks I have. Okay, I take this one, and you have a wave CV. This is this check, and when you modulate this, it's changing this knob here. And as I said, the CV you can assign to whatever bit crush if you want, or bank or wavetable switches. Okay, I connect you, and hopefully you hear something. The first one will be the normal waveform, and then the sub out. Okay, hopefully that worked, and hopefully you hear me again. So this is the Wavetable oscillator, and it's just in quotes an oscillator, which means you can create sounds. You have the sub, and it sounded like the sub down is 2 octaves below or something like that. So I'm not too sure, but this is really cool, and this will stay, I think, forever, because I really love that one. Sadly, it's not produced anymore, and really sadly. So if you know somebody who has the additional ROM for that, because the wavetables are fixed in the module, but there was an additional ROM you can add to the module on the backside. I think it's ROM number 3. And there was an additional bank of other wavetables, and I don't have it, and you cannot find it somehow. I did not find it, so I already thought if I would find an oscillator with this additional ROM, perhaps I would buy the whole oscillator and then sell one again. Sorry, because this oscillator will stay. I really love it, and you hear it can create really good and cool sounds, and distorted and very clean. I think these were not so clean, but you can do really nice stuff and really harsh or special stuff. And you know, perhaps when you've seen some of my jams, that I like noise and weird stuff and sounds, and this is a really cool thing. So okay, this was it here. So then I have the Alia platform from Noise Engineering. When I started my journey, yeah, as I said, I like noisy things and industrial sounds and this stuff, and a bit harsh sounds. So this one is the Alia platform. So what they made, Noise Engineering, in the past, they produced standalone modules for only one purpose, with one firmware on it. Let's say it this way. And it was from Noise Engineering oscillators or voices. I have the Debel Iteritas, which I absolutely love and will stay forever, definitely. This is like a more industrial voice. The Synths Iteritas, which is a wavetable oscillator, and the BIA, the Bassimilus Iteritas, you might have heard of, which is a drum and percussive voice. And what I also have is the Localic Iteritas, which is a kind of a really weird and brutal FM. So, this is an oscillator, yes. And I'm not sure. So the Alia platform is the newer platform, and this is, I think it's cool because you buy one module and you can change the firmware. You can just put it out of your case or get it off your case, connect the USB from your computer, and you don't need a software. This is cool. You can do it in the browser. If I did it with Chrome, you just put the module out, you plug in the USB cable and select what you want to do. And then you can, I did it also with my smartphone. I just have a look. Sorry, was not planned. And so I have to wait. Okay, you see that this is and as I said, I did the update with a smartphone. I didn't even use a computer, which is good. This is the Alia page from Noise Engineering. Then you can choose your platform. Here, Alia. It's a 10 HP oscillator platform, and then you can choose the firmware you want to use. So the Ataraxic is like a bit oscillator. It sounds like the 80s, 90s bit chip tunes. Bassimilus is the drum and percussive thing. Cursus is the wavetable oscillator. Debel and Incus and Taurus, I'm not absolutely sure. I have the Debel firmware on here. actually, but I cannot describe what it is, and one is Iteritas. And so I have Basimilus as a standalone module, the cursors as a standalone, and Manis. Localic is not here, and I'm not sure why. I think perhaps they cannot do it on this platform. So if I would have to, or want to buy noise engineering oscillator stuff, right now I would buy Alias. They are more expensive, and I bought this used. And additionally, what's cool about it, you can just search for noise engineering Alia, and you can buy whatever you want. This is originally ataraxic, and what I bought are these overlays here, and now I can change the firmware, and then I have Taurus, Cursors, Basimilus, Ataraxic, which I have, Manis, Incus, and Debel. And I like it. There are also some generic overlays, which I think Synths, and then you can look what is what. But yeah, and often I use the module not so intensive that I blindly know what knob and jack is what, and so I like these. And yes, as I said, now I thought about selling my Basimilus and perhaps Cursors, Iteritas, and buying additional Alia, because when I sell both and buy a used Alia, I think it's cheaper, and at the end it's more flexible. The Manis, yeah, this was my first voice from noise engineering, and I really love it. This will stay forever too, like the black wavetable here. And yeah, I'm not sure if I would sell it, but to be short, yeah, trying to be short, if you think about using noise engineering voices or oscillator, you should think about buying an Alia one. Nevertheless, which one? You can change the firmware, then you can have a feeling if it's good or not. Debel Iteritas is the firmware I just have on here, but haven't used it much, only once. I cannot say if it's for what it's cool or not, but I can, as I said, just update the firmware. It's an issue of 5 minutes, not 5 minutes if you know what to do, and then I can just try out and let it there. And this is why I used for this setup the Alia and not the others, because I'm more flexible, so I can change to the others I already have, despite the Localic Iteritas, which I would have to put in additionally somewhere because the firmware is not existing, but the rest. And additionally, I have the effects from Noise Engineering 2, the DSP platform, and this is a VCO platform, and same here. I have these overlays for the VCO additionally, and this is cool. I have the Melotus VCO, which is cool. It was my first one, and I really love it. But sometimes I would like to have an Electros VCO or Desmodus VCO. I can just switch the firmware. And additionally, they have the Legio platform, which is a smaller one. I have Vertiter Legio, which is a phase modulated stereo oscillator, and I think they have some kind of other things for this platform too. So sorry. They have a cool concept in my opinion, because you can save a lot of money. You buy one module in hardware, then you can switch the firmware and stay with that what you like or what you need. And if you need more than one, you buy a second one, and you're flexible. So this is cool. In the past, I did not like that because I don't want to use a computer or something and change firmwares and so on. But here, the modules are so expensive. It's good to have the opportunity just to test them. Okay, so these two I already explained. This one I love. It's really cool. This is very flexible, and I love the noise engineering stuff. And then I will roughly explain this one, and then I will switch again that you can hear something, and we're putting together some simple stuff we already talked about, or I'd already talked about, and do a mini jam, so you have a feeling how it works and what can be achieved with only really a handful of modules. Okay, so and this here is a voice, and you see when I press the trigger, and again it has a trigger, I love it, you know, then it makes a sound. I think I just connected to let you hear that, and I think it's easier to explain. Just a second, and I can then. Okay, it's here. Then it's easier. I have to find the right cable. Sorry. Okay, I connect. Okay, so hopefully that worked. You hit something and you hear my voice now. If this is all not working, I have a problem, because then I have to do the whole video again at the end. But you heard it. It's you can create clean sounds and distorted sounds and detuning and so on. So I like the noise engineering voices and oscillators a lot, and I won't go deep into detail because this is Debel Iteritas. I don't know. There are a lot of videos out there, but have a look if you're interested. And additionally, I explained the difference of oscillator and voice when I go to this next one here, which is the bassline, the Erica thing. And this was one of my first DIY voices or modules, and this is really cool. It's a complete voice, and the difference between a voice and oscillator is the oscillator is just oscillating. So when I turn this here, you see it's lighting up, and I can just sweep it. I connect you again and do a couple of sweeps with just the oscillator part. Okay, hopefully you heard something. So I lied a bit. It was not the oscillator part, only at the beginning, because I turned this knob, and this is a filter. And this is a difference of an oscillator and a voice, like the black wavetable here. It's just oscillating and generating a sound, or in this case, sound and sub out, which is the second one, but it's generating sound, static sound. And a voice Like this has a filter also, which you can attenuate here, and you can switch bandpass and low pass filter. And it has an envelope, or it has multiple envelopes for the amp, because okay, you have the oscillator, the sound source. You have a filter which shapes this or subtracts. It's subtractive synthesis. With a filter, you subtract parts of this, what the oscillator generates. And the filter can be opened, closed, and you can do it manually. And additionally, there is an envelope built in when it gets a trigger or gate. It opens the envelope of the filter, and then after that you have a VCA, which is an amplifier, and this has an envelope too, which opens the amplifier and closes it, and this is a complete voice. So if you would have to build that with single modules, you would need an oscillator, so as a sound source. You would need a filter, in this case 2 filters or a switchable filter. You would need an VCA, an amp after that. This is the basic voice, oscillator, filter, and VCA. And then you would need an envelope or two. And one envelope, when it gets triggered, it has influence on the filter, and the other one on the VCA. And so when you think about it, this one voice is four modules if you would, at minimum, if you would build it with single modules. So this is why I have 2 voices in here and only 1 oscillator, because it saves space. I do not need a lot of other modules. I can use them as they are. I cannot trigger that. It has no trigger here. And so I would suggest, because the envelopes and filter envelope, VCA envelope and resonance, this stuff, you have to hear it, and I think it would be good to patch a couple of things together and to make a small jam with just what we learned, Pamela's new workout or pro workout as a clock. And it's clocking the diff skip, the Euclidean guy here, which is happily, this was planned, connected to a kick drum, and the heads, the archer's rig with open and closed. So it's really simple. So we have just clock, Euclidean, generator, kick, and heads open closed in one module. So we have 4 modules here to create that. And then additionally, we would just use the Erica Synths BASSLINE as a voice. And as you learned, or already knew, of course, a voice can work standalone. You don't need something else. And Debel Iteritas, which is also a voice. And then we try out what we can do. And in the Pamela's Pro Workout, like I mentioned when I explained it, you can use it for a kind of touring machine, which means you generate randomly a pattern of, in this case, scale, within a scale, notes. So, and then you can loop that, and then you have a simple sequence, or then it can change. I fixed the loop here. It's nothing special, but just to let you know what you can achieve with only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 modules. You could even reduce it if you would have another module which can do different drums, or if you only use a kick or whatever. And this is a really small setup, but I think it gives you a feeling what you can do. And okay, to be honest, here on the end of chain, I'm not sure if you see it. Oh, the camera is nearly empty. Okay, here's the endorphins ghost end of chain, and later on I can add a bit of reverb here. So okay, then I plug you in and try to do the jam. If the battery dies again of the camera, I will do a second part. but I can talk about this. We do that, and then perhaps when it's working, just plug in one or two modulations from the Breakup source or the maestro you've seen. Have fun!